Welcome back to Fantastic Dizzy. Today we'll be travelling through the countryside to the town of Keldor, where hopefully we can find a few more items to save the rest of the Yolkfolk, and, in turn, Dizzy's girlfriend Daisy. So let's do this.
But first, he needs to get past the great beast for Dino Ball, and yeah, that's pretty anticlimactic.
Pretty much, yeah.
Actually, it's even more anticlimactic on the NES version because the thing's actually smaller than Dizzy.
It's like taking down a chihuahua with like a, I don't know, piece of bacon.
Hey, chihuahuas are dangerous, dude. You shouldn't underestimate them.
You know how adventure games try to paint things more exciting than they actually are? They describe that little waterfall section as Crystal Falls, and it's like, in my mind, that seems more grand than what it turned out to be.
There's actually a minigame in that part of the game as well, actually, that was taken out in the Mega Drive version, but I believe was in the NES version, where Dizzy actually travels down the river in a barrel.
Ah, yes, and unlike Grand Dizzy, it's a good job he can float.
Yep, he won't be needing no life jacket.
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna bomb off with the item you didn't even bother to describe on the clue screen. Dicks.
It's like, he's like, what is this? Why are you giving this to me? What do you want with me, man?
Yeah, that was the sack of gold coins. I'm sorry, I don't know why I forgot to go to the clue screen. I must have been the 5,000 takes I did to get through this bloody town.
Oh god, this town harbors a deep and dark secret. The sewers are a nightmare!
Oh yeah, you'll be seeing plenty of them in this part.
Considering the sewers are needed to get into the various points of this town.
Indeed. Now, I called this the mean streets of Keldor last time, and that's mostly due to the fact that, as you can see, there's guillotines just stationed everywhere for no adequately explained reason.
Well, Keldor is a tourist trap. I reckon they make most of their revenue from the public executions they have, and as a result, that's why the only person in this town is Blackheart the pirate and the shopkeeper.
Well, tourist trap doesn't really imply that you trap people and kill them. I think it's just like a place that is, like, manufactured to be, like, cool and interesting.
You should probably tell that to their government, because I think they got the wrong idea.
Wait, you mean casinos would work better than chopping people's heads off? Oh, now you tell us.
After the population has been chopped down, quite literally, to about 2.
I like the little map above, which shows where Dizzy's going in terms of the Keldor underground. I don't know, it's pretty charming.
So we're making our way right now to Blackheart the pirate.
Yes, indeed. We got some rum. Pirates love rum. This is fact.
His one-man pirate kicker party will now be a rousing success, thanks to us.
What the hell? He was drinking already. It's not even 11 in the morning.
He don't care. He's probably thinking, designated driver my ass.
This bit was such a pain in the ass to do a no-hit run on. And if you listen carefully, you could probably hear the little sound of me actually taking damage, but not taking damage at all. So, what's going on there?
I think the game is just bowing down to your gaming might and is just giving you a free one. It's like, no, don't worry about it, you're fine, you're fine. No, it's fine.
And instead of beating people over the head a la Gordon Freeman, we use this to open this little trapdoor.
A little bit, less exciting, but, you know, it'll still get us where we need to go. However, that particular item in question, we won't actually use until way later in the game, towards the end most likely.
Yeah, that's an endgame tier item right there. And we're only in part 2 now. I envision this is going to take, like, what, 6 or 7 parts to do at 15 minutes a pop?
Yeah, I kind of like what they did though. They kind of scattered all the items you'll need for the very end of the game in various different places. So you gotta collect these items, gather them up, and then use them as you go up towards Zaks' castle. And I think that's actually quite good because it actually gets you to do that management of items things a lot more seriously.
Oh, I suppose you could look at it one way as being like filler and, you know, padding, but you know what? I love this game, so you can't criticise it, it's perfect!
Yes. It's how you always feel about your childhood favourites, I suppose.
Pretty much.
But then again, the game is really damn good. I mean, it's not a case of, oh yeah, it's perfect and all that kind of thing. The game is legitimately really, really good.
I need to get around to playing the other Dizzies, to be honest. Fantastic Dizzy is really the only one I played.
Well, it's probably the best one in the series, from what I've heard from various forums and what have you.
Okay, now this particular thing we'll be using quite soon.
Oh yes, very soon in fact. We'll be using it to continue Dizzy's mass killing spree.
Will the deaths never end? No, says Dizzy, pounding the rats into the ground.
Well, you know how I was talking about the population of this place is 2? It turns out they actually did a survey not too long ago and they found that there's a bunch of people in the castle they didn't account for, so now Dizzy is actually being hired to, let's just say make sure the population count is accurate.
Yeah.
So, these sewer sections, I think there's actually a oversight in the game where you can see there's 3 different sections. There's the bottom, which is below Dizzy, the part which is where Dizzy is actually walking, and then there's actually a bit above Dizzy. And I think the ones that are above, since they're technically going past Dizzy, you actually take damage from them. And I think that's where a lot of the problem comes from with those particular sections, and why it is so difficult to no-hit them.
Yeah, every time you see me go in a door or something, or where it fades to black, there's usually a cut there, and you can't really tell for the most part, because, well, I've just gotten a lot better at editing since, what, 2008 or so?
So we are making our way to the castle, or palace, whichever you want to call it.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to this.
It would be like playing Doom all over again. Just picturing Dizzy says. Should have been
able to get like a mini Walkman as one of the items.
Well, Dizzy was supposed to be wearing a hat, wasn't he? Where the hell is that gone to?
Yeah, he was like fighting dragons with crossbows on the front cover. That sure as shit is not in this video game.
Well, not literally anyway. We used the crossbow for this, however.
Here we go, the first minigame of Fantastic Dizzy. You can duck, you can shoot crossbow bolts, and you have to knock out the soldiers from the windows, the parapets, and so on. And every time you knock one out, it will fill up the status bar, one little circle. And when the status bar blinks and fills up completely, you will be able to enter the Goblin's castle. But be careful, there is a time limit in the top right.
And also, if you get hit by one of the catapults that get fired at you, you'll actually lose a point as well. And if that goes down to 0, you lose a life.
Pretty straightforward.
And there we go. We killed all the guards to hear the cries of, "Your girlfriend's in another castle, dude!"
Dizzy don't care.
No, he's already killed the weed. He's pretty much lost all emotional attachment to anything living in this game. That isn't already an egg, of course.
Man, that troll who was like guarding that door got off quite easily compared to his brethren.
No, he's probably enjoying a nice holiday in the Bahamas or something. He's like, I wonder what all my friends back in the castle are doing.
It comes out, oh my god.
He comes back. I should have ordered more vacation time. It's gonna take a while for this to blow over.
Doesn't that guy actually have a name?
Yes, I believe his name is actually Rockwart.
A name worthy of Nightmare itself, and honestly those sewer sections kind of remind me of the, I think it's either the troll or the goblin tunnels in Nightmare. I think it's mostly the arches on the doors.
Oh yes, god damn, I love that show.
Hells yeah.
So the castle itself is a pretty nice little area. You know, all the architecture is pretty nice. The music's very good, I thought. It gave me a very, Castle of Illusion vibe.
This is a very difficult jump to make without getting hit, so you have my sympathies if you don't land it properly the first time.
There's a couple of jumps like that in the game, actually, where you have to make a jump and put yourself in such a way that you'll appear above the screen in just the right place, because otherwise you'll just miss it completely. There was one in the pirate section, but it didn't cause much trouble for Tom here at all, because he is the god of gaming, obviously.
Now, if you are going to do item management here, make sure for the love of God you pick up the crossbow before you exit, because you actually need the crossbow to get back into this place. So if you've missed stars, and remember, you'll need stars to actually beat the game, you're kind of out of luck.
Yep, it's pretty much just like the rope, however there's only one opportunity to mess that one up, whereas the rope there is probably no less than 4.
Yeah, so if you're not using the crossbow, just do what I do and leave it outside the door.
It's a good habit to get into, just in case. So now at this point we are going to be heading to the cemetery, I believe.
I hate cemeteries, be it in games or in real life.
Well, there's even spiders in this one as well, so even more reason for you to fear.
It never ends!
Yeah, there's pretty much spiders everywhere you'll go in this game. I'm pretty sure that is actually the case. Just spiders everywhere.
Now you saw near the beginning of Keldor there was actually a stripy umbrella. That's one of the optional items in the game, and what it actually does, I believe if you have it in the 3rd slot, it will protect you from the dripping acid, but honestly that's nothing that can't be solved with just some decent timing, so once you get it down pat, the umbrella kind of becomes worthless.
It's pretty much what could be considered a skill item. It's something that can be used if you're having trouble, but if you're really having no problems at all with it, then you can pretty much ignore it. Although one thing I would probably recommend is if you're starved for fruit to restore your health, it might be a good item to take around with you, because you minimize where you're taking damage from, and it'll give you less to worry about.
It's not going to do anything about the rats, though, so be careful.
Unfortunately, there's not nearly enough mousetraps in Keldor to deal with that problem. They've literally taken over the town at this point.
Well, just lead them into a guillotine, that'll do the trick.
And I believe the shopkeeper's actually in this area as well.
He reminds me of a Coronation Street character, I don't know why. Maybe it's just, like, his gruff exterior, oh, I can't be doing with no eggs.
He is actually also the first part to a very unique secret in this game, and it's actually called the Prince's Secret.
Ah, the one who gets married to Dora.
Yep. I'll tell you how this works. You find a gold coin, not a bag of gold coins, but just one gold coin. And if you give it to the shopkeeper instead of giving him the pygmy cow, you will still get the item which he'll give you, and it'll actually keep the cow in your slot. Now, after you've done that, if you take the cow to the prince, he'll actually come up with a dialogue box, and you have to do this before you rescue Dora, by the way. And if you give the cow to the prince, he'll have a dialogue box that says, "My name is Prince, and I am funky. Go for the Purple Rain bonus."
Oh wow.
And he'll drop an item called the Prince's Secret Sign. Now, you take this to the cemetery, which is where we are now, and if you use a spade, which we'll get to in a later part, you'll find an underground part of the cemetery, and there's a little pool there. If you leave the sign in the pool, you'll get Purple Rain, and you'll be awarded a massive 250,000 points.
Jesus Christ. Well, that is entirely optional, so me being Captain No Fun, of course I left it out of this playthrough, but it's on YouTube if you want to see it.
Indeed. Those after high-scoring affairs, miss that secret at your own peril. Now, with the cemetery as well, you'll notice that in the background there are a load of faces on the trees, and it's a very Snow White sort of feel to it, and some of the facial expressions actually did get a good chuckle out of me, I have to admit.
Well, along with the music, it just makes it all that more atmospheric, really.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Although, I would have liked to have seen some different music maybe for the cemetery, but, you know, the music still fits, so it's not a big problem.
Oh yeah, it shares the track with the mines, doesn't it?
Yes, that is correct, although, at the same time, the theme of Keldor is also used in a couple of other places as well, so there's a couple of reuse of music here and there, but apart from that, there's pretty much unique music for each section of the game. And there's an extra life we are going to just ignore that.
Well, I've done it once, and they take about 2 minutes a pop, so, you know, that's just a waste of time, and it's pretty much filler at this point, because I'd edit out deaths and mistakes anyway.
But yeah, we were talking about in part 1 how some of the extra lives you get are harder to find than others, and that's an example of one of the easier ones. It's literally right there, waiting to be picked up. And we are now heading back towards the pirate ship, because we need to explore the lower half of it.
Ah yes, below decks, more stars, more fruit, more items to collect.
More beer and also some dynamite for good measure.
What the fuck? Rum and dynamite is not a good mixture, let me tell you what.
Well, the pirate seems to be in a permanent state of intoxication, so I don't think he really cares or knows at this point.
Well, when we gave him the rum, he was already holding a glass of booze, so what the fuck?
The only thing that's better than booze is more booze, clearly.
True, true.
And there's the fish again, the most bored expression on his face I have ever seen on a marine mammal.
You're not gonna get to me just yet, don't mind me.
So what, the fish is now Eel?
Pretty much.
Hey guys, just swimming around. So the lower section of the ship, there's acid, lots of acid. So if you're having problems with staying alive because of that, that'll be a good place to sort of break in the umbrella, I would have thought. See, that fish there just looked really hyperactive. I think some of the booze has actually started leaking out from the bottom of the ship. He's like, I'm going crazy, man!
Maybe it isn't acid tripping down. Maybe that's just like really potent rum.
Blackheart the pirate's been dealing in meth.
More like Black Tongue the pirate. Freaking wino.
Well, he seems to be pretty kitted out. I mean, he's got barrels of stuff all over the damn place. The rats aren't going anywhere near it either. They know that stuff ain't right. It's like, I am staying well away from that.
Does this game expect me to believe that this single drunk of a pirate is able to run and maintain a ship on his own? I'll accept an egg with boxing gloves, but I can't accept that.
Well, Dizzy probably killed them all before he actually came to the ship. He performed some kind of covert op before the game actually started.
Ah yes, the prequel to Fantastic Dizzy. Terrific Dizzy.
Voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Note, this game does not actually exist. Please don't go looking for it and then yell at us when you don't find it.
Either that or we will find 6 months later, after doing this commentary, somebody's made a modded version.
You know what, Volk? I feel like tempting fate.
Oh, there we go. Blackout the Pirates realise you are not in fact the beer fairy and is asking you to walk the plank. I ain't having no wigs on my ship! Unless you be an orange or a lime, I don't care.
Oh man, how's Dizzy gonna get out of this one? Well, actually, you'll have to wait until next time to find out. So please join us in part 3 for more minigame playing, item collecting shenanigans. See you then.